This is part 2 of the Getting Started with CapCut series. Right here at the top, this number, this 0724, is the default file name, and it's going to default to creating a number like this based on the month and the year that you create the file. So I created this today. It is July 24th, and then it's the second copy I've made today, so it puts that little parentheses 2 after it. Below that, you have your menu of different things. So you have your import section where you can add your files, and you can click on that to browse through your computer and add stuff, or you can drag and drop stuff in there. You have audio, where you're going to find all of CapCut's built-in sound effects, music, things like that. Then you have text, where you can AI generate some text, or you can do auto captions, which will, when you click generate, it'll automatically find the captions, the words from your video, and transcribe it. You have stickers, where you can add little animated type of stickers, things with movement on them like this. If you hover over it, you can see what it does. Effects, these are different things you can add. You have two different sections. There's video effects, which will affect the lens, the look of the whole thing. And then you have, if I scroll down, body effects, which will find people in your image and add effects to it like this, how it's outlining the body and then putting that swirl behind the figure in the video. Next, you have transitions. These are things that happen between clips. So you can add little ways to smooth out transitions between clips. Then you have captions. Again, this is the auto captions feature that I briefly mentioned. And you can have it identify filler words if you're on the Pro plan, and all sorts of stuff you can do there that we'll talk about. Filters, this is to apply certain colors, color overlays, change the colors, change the look and feel of your video. And then if you hit that little dot, the last thing on here, or that little arrow right there, the last thing on here is adjustments. And this is where you can make custom adjustments to things like the saturation, the contrast, the brightness, stuff like that. And you can even import LUTs. If you know what LUTs are, then you can import those here under the adjustments tab. The next thing is our player view. So there's nothing in here right now. It's just black because there's no video added. But if I had video down here in the timeline, you would see it right here to see what you're currently editing. Then there's details. This is where you can see where it is stored on your computer. You can see the aspect ratio, frames per second, all sorts of details about your project right here. Then you have this bar here, which has your current tool. So if you have the select tool, which is just the cursor where you can select things, move them around, that's the most standard default tool. Then there's the split tool, which turns into a razor blade and allows you to click at a point on your video and split the video at that point in time. Select leftward is going to take everything from where your arrowhead currently is and select every part of the video to the left. Select rightward is going to do the same thing to the right. There's an undo button right there. If it was visible, there would be a redo button right there. Then there's a bunch of other stuff here that you can't see, but we'll talk about those when they come up. This little microphone here is to do a voiceover. This thing right here is a main track magnet. I'll talk about all of these as we go. And this one is a fit zoom to timeline, so it'll zoom out. If your video is too big to fit into this timeline, that'll zoom it out so that it fits into what you have right there in your view. And then this timeline is going to be where we do most of our editing. It's going to be where we cut things, move things around, change things, add layers, and we'll talk about that in the coming lessons. With all of these windows, you can pull them out. So like if I just click on it and I drag up, this is now a separate window. So if I had two monitors, which I do, and I often do this, is I could move this timeline to one monitor, and then I could move, for example, this play window to another monitor, and then that way I can just have a lot more screen real estate on each of my monitors as I'm going through this project. So that's familiarization with CapCut. Join me in lesson 3 by clicking on this video next.